make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Wilmore.
Well, growing up, I didn't really read any books that I could relate to as an African American, so I wanted to write books that I felt were relatable to now. You know, instead of reading about Huckleberry Finn and all that 1800 classical stuff, like what's going on now.
How did you, did you just decide, hey, I'm going to write something? Like, I know you have a couple kind of genres of books too, sort of about self-publishing and entrepreneurship. What, is there a genre that you like the most to write about, or is it just kind of whatever you're feeling?
I guess it really has to do with whatever topic I'm dealing with, and then I'll decide whether it's going to be a nonfiction or fiction book. There's a lot of subjects I don't want to write it as nonfiction because then they come off as preachy. So like when I know that I'm dealing, like my first book was called Love Don't Live Here, and it was dealing with two young African American women who become single mothers through different circumstances, and both of them strive to raise sons to be productive men. So that's their main plight. So at first I thought about writing as a nonfiction book, but then I said this is a touchy subject, so let me write a novel. So I know that with stories, what you could do is like layer it so it doesn't come off as being preaching, you know. So I can tell a story, but at the same time teach, you know. So you guys kind of trick people. No, because anytime, you know, you try to speak about something that's very real, they don't want to deal with reality, you know. A lot of people who did this, unfortunately, you know, they try to do everything to get away from what's real life.
And the response to your writing has been pretty awesome. You've won a couple of awards for some of them.
Yes.
How's that? What does that feel like to have that recognition when you put your heart and soul into something for so long and someone says, hey, I recognize that as something that's awesome? What's that like?
At first, you know, you get that ego thing and you get high on it. But then now at this point, I just do what I feel is right. I don't get caught up in getting pat on the back or whether people talk about what I do in a negative manner, because people are fickle. Just as well as they celebrate you today, they'll be at your neck tomorrow. So I don't take none of it personally. I just focus on what I need to do.
That's awesome. Are you working on anything now? I know it's been a little while, a couple of years since you've released something, right?
Yeah, I'm actually, right now I'm proofreading Third Eye Awakening 3, and I'm also working on other projects because I believe that books is just one platform, but from a book you could create other products that are relatable to that same product. So with Third Eye Awakening, I just released the audiobook version. So I plan to release a series of projects that have to do with the topics that I'm discussing in these works.
And everything's available on Amazon, correct?
Yes, everything's available on Amazon.
You have a couple books here, I want to show them, and then can you kind of tell me what they're about?
Okay.
We'll start with this one.
Okay, Third Eye Awakening is actually a very practical book. It's about spiritual and mental development and giving people back the power. Because what happened is with modern religions, it was, you know, the organizations wanted not just power over, you know, back then they were warring, you know, the different factions. And they wanted power over not just the land, but they also wanted dominion and power over the people. So this is why, they created certain ideals where, you have to look to another man to be safe. When in all actuality, the same power that created the universe is within you as well. And I want people to realize that they don't need a pastor, you don't need a politician, you don't need your boss to feel empowered. You have all the power. God has given you the power. So start thinking on that level. When you wake up in the morning, it's you that puts your feet on the ground, not somebody else. So it's you that's responsible for your life.
Wow. And then they weren't getting it with that one, so you released a second one to be like, hey, people, listen.
The second book is actually because, the Third Eye Witness series is not just going to cover one point. I want to make the series actually a work that covers the whole well-being of the person. So the second book is actually dealing with physical health and physical practices. Now that I've given you the blueprint to start thinking right about your life, I also want to deal with your physical health because 75% of the illnesses that people face have to deal with stress, and the rest of it has to do with the foods that we eat. We got to realize that we live in a society that's all about economics, that they don't care about whether you live or not tomorrow. And they don't make money off of this. You got to understand, they're not going to give you pharmaceuticals or whatever that's going to heal you, because then they're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
So they need to keep you sick, and whether it's sick mentally or sick physically, so that they can control you, basically.
Where did this passion come from in you to explore this and to write about it and I mean, how did you even come about that? Like, holy crap, we're kind of in a screwed up world.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that a lot of times our lives prepare us for the journey that we're gonna take. And being an African American, and studying slavery, that's what really got me into seeking my power, because we're still, as an African American community, we're still dealing with a lot of generational curses that we learned through slavery. So a lot of things that I started learning in my self-discovery to seek to empower myself, I realized would be helpful to not just African Americans, but people in general. So I said, let me write about this stuff, because it could help people if they want.
Yeah, if they want.
Because at the end of the day, what I believe that, when you're dealing with conscious development, that's something that a person has to make a choice for themselves. I can assist you, I can mentor you, I can coach you, but I can't force you to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's your child, whether it's anybody that's in your circle, you can't force them at the end of the day to do whatever it is for their life. They have to make that decision on
Yeah,
their
you
own.
can't change someone who doesn't want to
No,
change.
if they want to do whatever, the only thing you can say is, okay, if you're gonna live like that, you're gonna do etc. Just don't bring it in my circumference.
Mm-hmm.
Don't limit my ability to live the life that I want to live at the quality I want to live, because you want to live like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What about this book, All You Need to Know to Become an Entrepreneur? I mean, I feel like this is a very small book, and it seems like it's so hard.
Yeah, it's actually what I wanted to do with that book is, what I found is a lot of times you find a 200-page book on a specific subject, especially like business, and a lot of it's filled with a bunch of fluff. I just wanted to really cover the bases. So when I talk about the things in that book, I cover like what is a sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, S Corp, the pros and cons, marketing, guerrilla marketing, social media, the nuts and bolts of to get you going.
Now, how have you used that how has that like resonated or gone into your life of like being, you're an independent author, correct?
Yes, I'm independent.
So how, but you were with a publishing company yet?
No,
Did I
actually,
make that up?
what happened was the first company I formed was actually Third Eye Publishing. And I actually published as a traditional publisher, meaning that I did everything that the large publishers did. But then after 9/11 hit, the publishing industry changed. A lot of things happened in the publishing industry and in other industries as well. And then with the ebook convention, that was another thing. A lot of companies didn't prepare for it. And I wound up getting caught up in the middle of my distributor went out of business, so I took a big hit in regards to that. So I would say like in 2009, I was at a point where I needed to rethink everything that I wanted to do. And then that's when, Create Space, formed. And I just saw like a different avenue to be able to do what I wanted to do. And right now what I use Create Space and I use English Spark. I don't do it the traditional way like I used to do it because of the fact that I didn't like the publishing model. I didn't like giving distributors 60% of the retail, and I'm getting 40%, and then I'm also dealing with distributors and I'm paying fees. So at the end of the day, when I did get paid, whether it was 3 months or 6 months later, I'm only earning like 30-something%. So I just looked at the numbers and I said this didn't add up. So I needed to rethink about what I want to do. So now that we're moving into the technology age and with social media, my main plight right now, my main goal is to build my platform to a larger audience, and because everything could be done online now. With Create Space, with English Spark, they print the books and they ship them to the customers, so I don't have to worry about fronting all that money up front, that I was doing before.
It's an interesting time to be creative now because there's so many.
Whether you're in the music or whether you're in the publishing world, book publishing world, or in the film world, if you really get a grip on what's going on with technology, you could find yourself in a very good situation 10 years from now. You're able to you're able to compete with the big organizations out there if you really sit down now, and create a plan. You gotta create a plan.
I was just talking to someone who's very well known in the TV industry about my show, and he was like, you don't need to be on TV to be successful anymore. Like, there are so many outlets, which is awesome for you, because you can have a successful show, not on TV, but a TV show. Like, it's so crazy to me that you're able to just kind of...
And cable's going to change. Even, I was working for a cable company, but even that's going to change because right now, everything is going to switch over to streaming, whether it's the cable, to your television or the internet. So right now, it's a good time. It's really a good time. The only worries we have to kind of really like be on point with and be politically aware of is that the big companies that are involved in the music, the film, the publishing, and even the cable, they're trying to find ways to tax the, and limit that ability that the internet is going to give, creators, because it's taking money out their pockets. So we have to be on point with that and make sure that the government protect our rights, because that is part of our rights to be able to put our information out there.
What do you have coming up in 2018 that you can share with us? Anything fun and good?
A lot of book signings, so definitely look out for me when definitely a lot of book signings, a lot.
Did you put those all up on your Facebook page?
Yes, they're on my Facebook page. They're on Eventsy, which is a portal for events. They're on my Instagram. I post them on Google+. So if you just put in my name, Therone Shellman.
And we'll put all those links on our website too. One last question. What do you have to say for those entrepreneurs that are thinking about starting, or the authors that are thinking like, I have something to say, but I don't know how to get it out there? What are your words of advice?
My advice is, if you have something that you want to do it. But you got to set yourself up for success. What I mean by that is that everything is a process. Everything starts with a plan. But at the same time, you got to act on it. And the most important thing is you got to realize is that we have time while we're here. You're living your life. There's nothing to stop that. But you're going to have to realize that it's very important to live your life on your terms. It doesn't make no sense doing something that you don't want to do when you know that we're going to be here anyway. So you might as well do what you want to do. There's no way to avoid it, You might want to avoid the responsibility of being disciplined to go out there and do it. But then at the end of the day, when you don't do it, you have nobody to blame but yourself. You can't blame the politicians, you can't blame so and so. At the end of the day, your life is your responsibility.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than waking up and working, doing a job that you love.
Yeah, I'm striving to get back to that. When I first published it, I was in that position financially to do everything that I wanted to do every day. And I'm working to get back to that point because a lot of times when we're there, we don't realize how precious it is.
Yeah.
And the thing about success will blind you to the fact that it's possible to fall. You just get so high on being success that you don't realize the steps that you took to get there.
Yeah.
The steps that you took to get there were with care. So even when you're successful, you gotta take care to protect what it is that you have obtained.
I've been watching, I don't even know how I started this, but I've been binge watching all of the episodes of Undercover Boss on Netflix, and to see all these huge CEOs of all these major
And they
companies.
realize that.
Yeah, and I cry through every episode because they're crying because they're like, holy crap, I've been living in such a bubble in
and
my
they're
little
realizing
or
that.
my big mansion that I don't even realize what's happening.
What's happening on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And it happens like that. I work for a couple of very large organizations where the people at the top, they just, running the numbers, blah, blah, and they don't even know what middle management is doing. Sometimes middle management just running like a train.
Yeah.
They're treating the people bad, everything.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So so it's very important that on the way up, you remember all them steps that got you. It was
That got
hard
you
work
there.
that got you there. So it's going to be hard work to keep you there and to go to the next level because everybody's facing struggles at different levels. You might think, oh, that person that got $10 million, $50 million don't have no struggles. They got struggles to maintain that, and they have struggles to go to the next level. And we all have to be grateful for what we have, protect what we have, but also realize that if we're going to keep what we have and if we're going to go to the next level, that we got to be consciously aware and we got to be evolving, because if you don't evolve, you die, you're going to fall. Nothing stays the same.
Well, thank you very much for being here. You are actually, speaking of evolving, our final guest here. We are moving to a theater to film a show in front of a live audience.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah, so that's our next step. So we're going to
go to the next level.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that you're our final guest here, because that's a good stopping point, I think.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Check him out. Go to our website. Go to his website, and we'll be right back after this.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.